Hi, welcome back. Nice to see you. I'm Harry. We're going to be doing some foam rolling and mobility exercises. Start with our neck, shoulders, and work our way down the spine today. As usual, 15-20 minutes, so hopefully you can work it into your daily routine. If you want to do more, feel free to do a couple of classes back to back if you're an avid fan. Right, nice and gently today. If you're kneeling, come up high. If you're standing, stay standing. We're going to start off with shoulder shrugs. So we're going to work these muscles, our upper trapezius, and just get them moving. Lots of us don't realise, but we quite often, especially when we're tense and stressed, shoulders come up, and it's only when someone tells you that you remember to drop them down. So we're just going to try and do full circles, so up towards your ears, and then drop them down on the way back. And then we're going to go forwards. Again, trying to get as big a circles as you can. Great little mobilization for your shoulder blades as well. Let's go back again. Perfect. And forwards. Great. We're going to stretch your levator scapula. So this is the muscle that starts at the top of the neck and comes down to the shoulder. Most people, when they stretch the necks, tend to go straight over to the side. So that's a really good stretch. That's getting your scalenes. But more often than not, the bigger muscles, the trapezius and the levator scapula, are situated more to the back of the neck, which you miss when you're going straight over to the side. So instead, what we're going to do, we're going to drop our chin down first, rotate to one armpit, hand gently on the back of your head, and then we're going to pull down obliquely towards one armpit. And we're going to come back up, do the same on the other side, so rotate, drop the chin down, pull down nice and gently in this direction. You should feel the stretch coming down here. Sometimes you can even feel it going back into your shoulder blades, between your shoulder blades. And you can always sit on that hand if you're on your desk chair to keep this shoulder from shifting up. And again, tend to hold it sort of 10 seconds or so. I come back, let's do the other side, so down and across. And switch. And switch. And last one. And you can also put this hand just behind your back a little bit, which does the same thing. Great, come back up, gently look over your left, gently look over your right. Perfect. So, neck pain, especially when you've woken up with a crook neck in the mornings, you slept a bit awkwardly, you get a little bit of a pinch. Those two exercises are really good places to start. The third exercise is a brilliant mobilization to improve our neck mobility. So lots of the time when we do have tension in our necks, we get a little bit stiff in turning one way or the other. So I call this exercise the zombie arm exercise. So what you're going to do, either sitting or standing, if you're kneeling, come up high. We're going to do an experiment. So look over your left shoulder, see where your nose can get to on the wall, comfortably, don't try and force it. Back to neutral. Arms up in front. We're going to rotate our arms 10 times the opposite direction. So we looked over my left shoulder, we're going to rotate to my right 10 times. Keeping nice and relaxed through the shoulders. Brilliant. And then look back over your left shoulder. I can automatically get 10 to 15 degrees further. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So look over your right shoulder, see where your nose can get to on the wall, back to neutral, arms in front, nice and relaxed, 10 times to the left. Great, and then look over your right, and again, I can get sort of 10 degrees further. So it's really gentle, really safe, but really quick, easy way to loosen up your neck. And it all works because as we're rotating one way, our upper back is rotating in one direction, which is the equivalent to turning our neck in the other direction. So it sort of corkscrews and helps loosen all those muscles up, but really gently and really safely. So that's a great one to do if you're getting a bit stiff in the neck. The neck is basically a continuation of our mid-back, so we really want our mid-back to be moving well, our spinal joints around that area to move well, which takes as much pressure as possible off our cervical spine, which is your neck. So we're going to move on and foam roll our thoracic spine, the mid-back. So as usual with this kind of foam roller, feel your spine into the groove. We're not going to do a fulcrum today, we're just going to go straight into lifting the pelvis and foam rolling. So gently cross your arms over your chest and do some nice, slow, long strokes just towards the lower rib cage and up towards the neck. Keep it nice and steady. Don't forget, if you need to, you can change your feet. Your feet aren't glued to the floor, so just do whatever's comfortable. Do a few little oscillatory ones lower down as you drop your pelvis, and then as you come up a little bit higher, let's just raise that pelvis to keep the pressure. Lovely, a few nice pops and clicks there. Come and re-center again. This time what we're going to do, we're going to take a fraction up to the next level. So as we're coming to the mid-back, we're going to tilt ever so slightly to one side. Now what this does is it really targets the erector spinae and your rib heads on one side of the spine. So the erector spinae, your 24/7 postural muscles, they get really tight in people that have stiff spines, and it's really important to get them. It is quite an intense one, so you can really feel it. If it's too much for you, if you're sort of newer to foam rolling or you're not enjoying that pressure, then just straighten up and distribute your weight a little bit more evenly. But if you want to go a little bit harder, tilt and just twist ever so slightly one way, and you can really feel that central prong on whichever side you're tilting towards, really getting into those muscles and those rib attachments. Great if you've got stiff rib cage and things like that. Nice. Let's come back, let's re-center. It's quite nice to have a couple of seconds break in between each episode of foam rolling your mid-back, and I want you to find that real sore spot and just oscillate. If your neck's getting tired, interlace the fingers and just support your neck to take a little bit of pressure off. That's great. And I'm just going to drop down towards my lower rib cage. You can see that my chest comes a little bit higher, and we're just going to oscillate down there. Tilt to one side. Amazing. And then to the other. And often you will find one side is slightly more tender than the other. For me, it's definitely my left today. Great. Come up. we're going to do mobilization for our chest muscles. So very commonly, lots of us get tight in here. Being a woman pulls you forwards quite naturally anyway. Working, computers, books, phones, we tend to have a little bit of rounded shoulders. I certainly do from years playing hockey. And what that does is as soon as the shoulders come forwards, to stop us looking at the floor, our neck has to come up, and therefore you can get a bit pinching and tension in that neck. So it's really important to open out your chest. So the first thing we're going to do, your pec minor, which sort of comes on the outside, is often the tighter one compared to your pec major, most of us. So we're going to use your fingers, have a dig around that sort of outer line of your chest. You will find some tension in there, I have no doubt. Now I'm going to kneel up high. You can do this standing or sitting again. When I found that sort of tension, that sort of trigger point area, we're just going to maintain the pressure and then rotate that shoulder back and around. So we're sort of breaking down any adhesions in the muscle or the fascia around it. And use your fingers and just wiggle, sort of find your way around the muscle. So I'm just changing the location and the point of the pressure. Oh yeah, so that for me is a real sweet spot. So I'm just going to extend my arm, move this out of the way, come further around. Oh, nice. And then I'm going to shorten it up a little bit, forwards and back, maintaining that pressure. And you can do that for as long as feels comfortable. Let's try and do it on the other side. So find some of those sweet spots. Either start with nice big circulars, or if you've got a little bit of a shoulder issue, maybe bend the elbow so it's a shorter lever. And just let your fingers travel around the muscles in that area. And you're really sort of, after years of treating patients, I can kind of feel the tight spots, but for most of us, we're sort of waiting for that slightly more intense, sort of tender spot. People often say it's like rubbing a bruise, and it's kind of sore, but also feels like you're doing something positive, which is good. Okay, brilliant. And then we're going to have our palms facing up, and we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades together. And relax. Squeeze. If you want to do this with an exercise or a resistance band, again, getting the rhomboids and the lower trapezius working in your mid-back, really nice to help stabilize our shoulders and scapula. Great. Come onto all fours. We're going to do some more work on our shoulder blades. So we're going to pinch them down and then spread them out to the side. So we're pinching and then trying to spread out to the side, pinching, spread your shoulder blades out to the side just to get them moving. Great. Could I target some muscles that often get overlooked? They're really important when it comes to sort of shoulder positioning, shoulder function and biomechanics. So they're your sort of teres muscles coming around here, some of which are your rotator cuff, as well as the sort of upper portion of your latissimus dorsi, which is that big one that comes down into your lower back. I'm warning you, this one is tender on nearly everyone, so if you curse loud. Right, so foam roller on the outside of your shoulder blade, basically, so right underneath the armpit, and we're just going to roll through here. So when you find that sweet spot, you will know it, and I want you to hold it and do some arm waves, get some cross fiber going. Oh. Anyone that's got any history of shoulder instability, these muscles will probably be working really hard, so you want to strengthen them but also loosen them off a little bit. It's really important. Anyone that gets any tingling and going down to the arms, again, it's a really nice one. Anyone that does climbing or sort of works out a lot as well, lats can often get really tight up here. So it's only quite a small movement because they're fairly small muscles. Oh, great. And then a couple more waves. Oh, palm down, palm up. And let's just finish off with another nice book crawl. Roll through that. Brilliant. Let's come up, let's switch. Again, foam roller right sort of at the top and back of my armpit. I'm using the central prongs. If you want to be more gentle, then use the outer curve, okay? So if you're finding it a bit too much, which is totally fair enough, use that outer curve at the front or the back edge of the foam roller, which is much softer. If you want the intermediary sort of pressure, go for that sort of rib hump in the middle of the foam roller, or if you want to be really mean, go for the central prongs, which just focuses the pressure a much more smaller area and really gets in nice and deep. And again, a few waves. Perfect. And then, how can we not finish off with anything other than our suboccidipitals when we've been working on our neck so much? Plus we finish off with it every time. So, central prongs right at the base of the skull, dropping that chin down, sexy, attractive double chin, flattening out your low back, knees bent, and just chill. Brilliant. Come and sit up. Nice little shoulder wiggle, and you're good to go for the day.